conquer and we're going to take some. Is that understood? Yes, sir. That's what we're going to do, sweetheart. We are going to go and get some. All right, people, on the ready line. Are you me? Yeah! Are you me? Yeah! What are you? What are you?
Exceptional Parent Magazine's August back-to-school issue provides tips on preparing students with disabilities for an easier transition from summer vacation back to school. You can read this issue and past archive issues for free by signing up for EP at www.epmagazine.com.
Monotony. It comes in all shapes and sizes. Dull, tedious, just plain boring. But what is this? A contender, perhaps? Something unboring by the looks of it. Jabs right at dull, an uppercut to tedium, something that keeps you on your toes, keeps your head on a swivel, a knockout punch to your old, boring workouts. Welcome to Fight Camp.
Oscar Mike Radio is a proud podcast partner of Reach Across America Radio, heard every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern. They're also big supporters of the nonprofit I Got Your Six, Two Lives at Once. And with every wreath you sponsor through Oscar Mike Radio, $5 goes back to this great organization dedicated to making a difference in the lives of veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders battling PTSD. Two Lives at Once pairs these brave men and women together with dogs rescued from kill shelters. In this way, two lives are saved at the same time by saving each other. Donate now. Go to reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio to help. That's reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio.
Marines are made for this. Made for the calling only warriors can answer. Made from an unshakable belief in our nation and a strength that comes from the determination to win together. But you'll have to earn your place among us, because you don't join the Marines. You become one.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. My name is Travis, Marine Corps veteran and your host. Oscar Mike Radio is co-produced with Sinister Wind Productions. What's your podcast doing? I want to thank my sponsor, Joyce Asek of Asek Real Estate, and my supporters, Case on Shaving Company, Exceptional Parent Magazine, and Fight Camp. Be your strongest combination. Listen, folks, we are counting down to number 500. This time is going fast. I'm having a great time. And you know, again, I'm talking to a veteran who served our country and is now taking what he's learned and working with other veterans to support us and make us better. I want to welcome Logan Spiewak to Oscar Mike Radio, and he is one of the principal leads of Boots to Health Foundation. Logan, this is not Logan's Run. Welcome to Oscar Mike Radio.
Travis, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me, sir. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, it's really interesting when you approach me, and I get approached a lot, and I look at organizations, but I looked at what you all did, and I'm like, this is really cool how this is focused on the overall veteran, health, mind, body experience. So we're going to learn all about that. But before we do that, kind of tell us about who Logan is, how you served, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Travis, before joining the military, obviously, going through high school and all that good stuff, I was, like many military members that I know, I was a troubled teen. I made a lot of poor decisions growing up, got into a lot of severe trouble with the law, arrested numerous times, and was ultimately expelled from high school. So, my chances of success after high school was very dismal. There wasn't really many opportunities for me to go to college to do anything just because of all the trouble that I got into with the law enforcement. So, with that being said, I didn't really have many choices, especially being so young, like I said earlier. So I did what any other young man would do. I decided, I need to join the military. I always wanted to be in the military as a young boy, especially when I saw a Marine in his dress blues. I thought that outfit gets everybody. I think that's one of their recruiting tools, is just having seen this Marine in their dress blues with the blood stripe. I was like, wow, that guy, that's a guy. That's a man's man right there. And I want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying, Travis? I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
you've seen it growing up. And I was like, wow, I want to be that guy. So obviously I started the process. I had what's called a pyeloplasty surgery as a newborn baby, as an infant. So essentially I didn't, both my kidneys didn't function at 100% when I was a newborn baby. So with that being said, obviously there's a lot of medical waivers going into the military.
Wow, it must have been.
If you show Travis, get in line and wait, buddy. Let me tell you. That
Wow.
was a fight to even get into the military. Initially, Travis, I tried to join. Actually, this sounds crazy, but I really wanted to be a Navy SEAL first and foremost. I wanted to go to BUDS training and everything because you can just voluntarily sign up to go to schooling for that. Obviously, I had to go through so many selection phases and all this good stuff. And I was like, well, let me try it. Why not? I'm 18, 19, no idea what I'm really getting myself into, young, naive, and stupid. So I wanted to do that. That didn't work because of my pyeloplasty surgery. That halted quickly. Then I went into the Army office. The same dude was like, "All right, we'll try, kid. Let me see what I can do." Waited another month, 2 months. Nothing came back and said, "Yeah, you're denied." Went into the Air Force. They said the same thing after like 3, 4 months. The recruiter said, "Yeah, let me do what I can do." Denied me. And then I was walking out, and I see this Marine standing at his recruiting office door. And he said, "Hey, son, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I just got denied from the military, trying to join this fourth branch." He's like, "What do you mean you got denied?" So this was icing on the cake for this guy. This was sweet. Came in, I was like, I told him my situation, and he was like, "That's no problem." It's giving me the full thing. He's like, "We can get you in, no problem." He's like, "You just got to sign a whole bunch of paperwork for us." So this gentleman took care of me pretty much. I went through the process with the Marine Corps, and this gentleman finally got me in, finally got into the DEP program. My job, obviously, in the Marines was an infantryman. Went through basic training, SOI, hit the fleet, and then dealing with being in the military. I understand firsthand what it's like for veterans who struggle with mental health disorders and PTSD and all that good stuff. And there's some individuals on my unit who obviously had those, ramifications of going to war. And my time in the service, was different. It was great. I think the Marine Corps did a lot of good things for me, gave me structure, gave me discipline, uh, made me want to better myself individually. But also, I learned a lot from a lot of different people. And, just I'm very thankful that I was able to go in, meet a lot of these people, learn a lot of things, and apply these things in my life. I got medically separated from the military. So my career was not. I wasn't Chris Kyle, Travis. I put it like that. I was not no Chris Kyle. But I'm just thankful for the opportunity, the people I met, and you know, going back to what I said, I've learned a lot. I understand what people will go through that have mental health disorders, that struggle with PTSD, and what it does to that person, and what it does to that person's family. And when I got out of the military, my discharge process wasn't necessarily the best. I struggled a lot. I fell into a really dark place mentally. Contemplated suicide quite a bit.
Wow.
Yeah, because Travis, you got to think, right? I get in, this is everything I wanted to do, and then it's short-lived, and then, I don't really, Travis, well, I mean, and what am I, 21 at this point? I don't really have too much behind my name, like not any work history, Travis. So I really couldn't really do too many things, going back to school wasn't really my best interest of what I should have done. I didn't want to work another manual job after doing everything in the military and seeing that and what it does to the body. I mean, I've seen people really messed up, Travis, physically. I just fell into a really dark place, and I just started drinking again, and this was all around COVID, and I really put on a lot of weight, and I became something I'm not really proud of, and very disappointed in who I was, and you know, I just felt isolated, Travis, to be honest, and it was honestly just terrible,
Well,
really
well,
terrible.
let me ask you something because I got medically separated, on a PT run, stepped in a hole, boots and utes, and hurt something in my right leg, and I'm still paying for that, years later. But a lot of people don't understand that. And I've actually run into other veterans, especially Marines, who are like, well, you were just a sick, lame, and lazy malingerer. I'm like, well, no, I really couldn't run anymore. And if you can't run, as you know, in the Marine Corps, you're kind of done. But people don't want to talk about what that does to you mentally or emotionally when you realize, hey, you know what? I can't keep up on this run anymore.
Well, yeah, I think the Marine Corps is different, Travis, and as you know, because you're a Marine, and it's just a different culture. Once, especially when you go into an infantry unit and you're like, hey, we're all here, we want to do the same thing. And once you become, not what you can do. In other words, you can't do your job. You kind of get isolated from that unit. Like they turn on, like in my experience, like everybody thought I was lying about my injuries and all my problems. So it caused a lot of conflict within my unit and a lot of bad distaste from people. And it was just not good, Travis. Looking at it, it was bad. It was very bad because they thought, oh, when they think you're lying, trying to get out of PT and all that stuff. But again, a lot of these guys, I understand now. I didn't back then, but I understand a lot of these people that I was working with were suffering from mental health disorders, and their aggression that they were taking out on me, was just because they were hurting. I didn't realize that then, but I realize that now because of all the work that we've done up to this point. But no, I'm with you, Travis. It's once you can't do nothing, you can't do nothing. But I tell everybody this, Travis, because I've worked with a lot of veterans, and I'm sure we'll talk on this. So if you get hurt, make sure that you get help. I don't care what anyone says because it's your body, your life. You're living with that for the rest of your life. They're not. Who cares what they got to say about you, to be quite frank? Because, unfortunately, Travis, you're never going to see most of these people again because most of these veterans, like I said, Travis, they get out, isolate themselves, and end up killing themselves. Like that's a real problem that we don't talk about, and that is, it's not good, right? So what I'm saying is get help. I don't
Yeah.
care what anyone says. Get help. Get help.
You got out and you're getting kind of tossed around by life. When did it start to change for you that you're like, you know what, here's a way out, here's how I can dig myself out? What happened to you, Logan, to kind of get you, hey, I can start fighting again?
Yeah, so like I said, Travis, I'm such a young man still. I really am still young to this right now as we speak. But I'm 22 at this time, and I'm like, "Ah, dude, I gotta do something with my life. I'm a quad 4A personality, Travis. You know what I'm saying? I'm a go-getter. Like I'm very driven as a person. It's probably not. I don't care. I think it's healthy. Some people probably think it's not healthy. I like to get stuff done, Travis. But, I would go to the gym to, feel better, to move my body, just to get around, just to get a sweat going again and not just stay complacent and stay up in my home and not do nothing. Uh, you know. So that was my escape from reality. Some people it's drugs, some people it's alcohol, some people it's whatever. My escape from what was going on, was the gym. So I was working out for a while, and I actually met this old man one day. When I thought he was a poor old gentleman, didn't really think too highly of him at all. And I bought him a pair of sneakers because I thought he was, an old, lonely old man. Like his wife died like a widow, like a widow. And I bought him these shoes, and he thanked me and all that good stuff. Came to the gym, gave him these shoes, and that was it. I thought that was the end of the conversation, Travis. I didn't think anything else of it. A couple days went on. I saw this man, 70-year-old man, with a pair of new Nikes on his feet. It's hilarious, Travis. Like these weren't cheap shoes either. These were like $200 sneakers, by the way. And I was
You
just
don't
being
you don't do anything halfway, do you, Logan?
no, no, Travis. And I was being very generous. I didn't know anything about this guy. I'm not even kidding. I bought him a pair of sneakers, and we just built this relationship slowly, Travis. I would see him in the gym every day because that's when I would go and I would see him. And this guy was obviously retired because he's a lot older than I was. And we started to really build this relationship, Travis, to the point where I got comfortable enough with him and started to tell him what was going on in my own personal life. Come to find out, this gentleman was a huge theologian, Travis. He was a Christian man. I was an atheist at the time, never had any faith in God or anything like that. This gentleman kind of led me to Christ and kind of took me under his wing as a son, kind of mentored me. And I always told him like this vision that I wanted like to have my own gym one day and help and give back and help. And I was telling him my own personal struggles, and I put everything on paper, and that's honestly how Boost Health came about was because I bought a man a pair of sneakers, and you can't make that up. Like that's crazy to even think about, Travis. Looking back even now, and after that, I put the my money where my mouth is in better sense, right? I started to get to work. Started to look for a facility, started to look for equipment. I started to come up with the name Boots to Health. I was thinking, what is relatable for vets, like any veteran, not just the Marines. I was like, okay, what do we all wear? Camis, whatever, dog tags now. I was like, boots. We all wear boots. Duh. I'm like, okay, boots and what? Boots to fitness? No, boots to health. Because I think the whole health of the individual is very important, especially dealing with veterans, because these individuals suffer a lot from putting themselves through, obviously, different types of training and situations and environments, and obviously what it does to the brain and, alters the way of life for a lot of individuals because of all the trauma. So Boots to Health is where the name came about. And then, Travis, the rest is history. I got to work. I built this from the ground up. I took a big, big, big gamble, took out a lot of consumer debt when I first started Travis because no banks were giving me any money, Travis. I'm just gonna be honest with you. This kid's 22. He wants what? How much money? Nah. So what I did is I stacked my credit cards that I all had, no balances on them, Travis, maxed them all out, literally maxed them all out. And I'm like, I'm taking a huge risk at 22.
Yeah.
And a lot of money later, I had this stressor of, okay, we gotta pay rent, gotta pay utilities, gotta do this, gotta buy equipment, gotta do this. So I really rolled the dice, Travis, big time. But thank the Lord, it all panned out, and the God supplied my needs. But getting started was a challenge. I'll be honest with you, Travis. I mean, zilch. I'm 22, no business acumen, didn't know how to do a business plan, didn't know anything about lines of credits, EINs, tax forms, IRS forms. I mean, I had to do the whole shebang, right? And what's the best way to learn anything? You got to do it hands-on, Travis. So that's
Just
what I
jump
did.
right in.
Jump head first, baby. Let's go. That's what I did. That's hilarious, right? That's hilarious. That's crazy.
But you
Uh,
did that. You took a leap of faith on yourself. I mean,
I'm
it's kind.
I'm
It's,
glad though I did, Travis, because you know I couldn't get a job. A lot of people said I was too optimistic, and a lot of these things that wouldn't never work. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna prove these people wrong. Tell me it's not gonna work. If you tell me it's not gonna happen, I'm gonna make sure it happens. You understand what I'm saying, Travis? I'm that kind of guy. If I say I'm gonna do something, you best believe I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man of my word. And, I was the last 5 years, Travis, I've been at this every single day, working 80, 90 hours a week. But to me, Travis, to be able to help this many people, to meet so many new people, to learn so much from different veterans from my age to being in their 70s and 80s from the Vietnam era, man, honestly, it's been a blessing. It's taught me a lot. I've learned a lot about the military, the culture in general, not just the Marine Corps, every branch. And honestly, I'm really thankful that it worked out. Not the way I anticipated it by any means, but praise God for that. So I'm really happy, Travis. I could talk more about the program as well. So, like I
well,
was,
first, I want to go back and just, you know,
I'm sorry. I love what I do, Travis. I'm very passionate about
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, this is a great conversation. But one thing I am curious about is
it.
God figures, it seems to figure greatly into what you do now. So how did you change from being an atheist to, maybe I'm assuming here, but it seems like that God does figure into what Logan does now.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, Don, I didn't really talk too much about him. So, but Don like I said, he was a theologian, was a pastor, was a professor. I mean, this man did it all. And I thought nothing of this guy. This guy was very humble and very down to earth, low key. You would have no idea, Travis, this guy was as successful as he was. So I started telling him a lot about trauma in my own personal life and all the stuff that happened growing up, all the bad stuff I did, and all the places that I went I should have gone, and all that good stuff. And I told him, and I was like, he's like, well, Logan, he's like, well, what's your faith like, Logan? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Faith in what? He's like, do you believe in God? And I was like, oh man, it like hit me. Like it hit me. He handed me a tract. It's called 1 Minute After You Die. And I read the back of it, and it's like, it just hit me, Travis, that I don't have any faith in Jesus Christ. And it was talking about what happens after you leave this earth, because we're all going to die, Travis. Let's
Well
be
done. Yeah. Yeah.
all die. That's guaranteed. And I was like, wow, I really don't have faith in Jesus Christ. And then I read this tract, and Travis, I mean, I read it on my card, and I just started bawling, like bawling. I never cry, never. And I just started crying so much in the car. And that first time in my life. Last time I cried like that was when my grandfather died. And it just hit me. I felt like this burden just go off of my shoulders, and I felt renewed, and I felt like, oh man, I finally can see straight. I finally have, an idea of what I should be doing and this sense of purpose of how I can help other people. And that was it. After that, I've been wholly committed to the Lord. I'm not perfect. I'm still a sinner. I know that wholeheartedly, Travis. I look at myself every day, and I read the Bible every day, and the more you read it, man, the more you understand how big of a sinner you really are. And man, just God's been so good to me, Travis, and I'm not ashamed of that. I love to tell people about that because it's changed my life. So
Well, I just, you're not the first veteran, not the first active duty person who's told me that, hey, when I started embracing, faith in God in my life, things changed and I was able to do, things I didn't even consider I would do, and God was there for me. And I really respect that, and really thank you for sharing that side of you with us. So I really appreciate that. Let's let's play a hypothetical game, shall we?
I love games.
All right. I come to you and I say, you know what, Logan, I'm a Marine veteran. I've got some miles on me, and I'm just trying to improve my overall health. How does the program work? What happens first, and how would you take care of somebody coming to you for help?
Yeah, that's a great question, Travis. So you reach out, you fill out one of our intake assessment forms. That way, we just have your information on file. You'll come to our facility here in central Pennsylvania. Again, we have a private facility. That's good because we deal with a lot of veterans with PTSD. So this gives veterans one, confidentiality is a big thing. Two, they don't feel like they're being judged because a lot of people that do come, Travis, I'll preface this is they're kind of overweight and they don't like going to the public facilities because they feel bad about themselves and they feel like people were judging them because they were in such great shape and they were beasts, and then they come out and they're just trying to get back and they don't want to be judged. So I will preface that it is a secluded spot for veterans to come. So if people are listening, that might encourage some people to come to the program. So they fill out this assessment, like I said, they'll come to the facility, and then we'll just sit down and talk, Travis, like we and you are right now. Myself or one of my trainers or somebody will sit with you and understand who you are, what you're trying to do, what you're about, and what's going on in your own life, right? We're trying to understand, one, can you make it to your appointments? Can you come and actually get the workout program? Can you get the meal planning? Can you get the life coaching? Can you get the spiritual counseling? Can you make it to the program? Okay, that's great. And then after we talk, we mingle, have fun, put you through a basic, strength and conditioning test, range of motion test, just to see, because every veteran, Travis, we've worked with has some sort of disability. So we're trying to see what your disability is so we can understand that and better serve you and make sure that the program that we can customize is going directly towards you and it's going to fit you. Because every veteran is different. Some people may want to lose weight. Some people may want to get stronger. Some people may have range of motion issues in their shoulder and their foot and their leg. So it's really dependent on that individual. So come in, we put the program together for you. If you're able to make it to your appointment, if you're able to do all these things, we customize a 90-day program completely free for you. And then you'll come to the facility and we'll put you through the program and then help you get stronger, make sure you're eating the right things. And then after the program, we're encouraging veterans to obtain their personal training certificates for an education piece. That's provided by us at cost, so the veteran doesn't have to pay for that. So if veterans want to become personal trainers, we'll pay for their certificate to help them with their employment journey as well. So that's kind of how the whole program is functioned and laid out for right now.
So you spend 90 days, or is it like an everyday program, or 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or is it an everyday program?
Yeah, so it's twice a week they come to the facility, and then it's once a week for their nutrition coaching class as well. So it comes out to around 24 sessions. So you break that up, so 8 sessions a month. So you come in 90 days. So
So you spend a lot of time with these veterans, yes?
I've spent a lot of time with a lot of different people, Travis, that's for sure. Uh,
Well, I say that because it's one thing just to write a workout, hand it to somebody, and tell them, "Hey, there's a Nautilus. Go do the exercise of the Cybex machine." But it's another matter entirely to actually sit there and unpack what's bothering somebody and how to fix it, and then actually help them get better, right?
well, yeah, I mean, for sure. I think it wouldn't do anybody any justice. It's like me coming to you, Travis, if I want to lose weight and you're just saying, okay, do this program, that's it. There's not going to be any change.
Right.
Where's the change going to come from? You have to build relationships with people so these people feel comfortable and put them in a community with other veterans so they're not isolated. I do it that way for the community piece, for them to come together, for them to do things. I mean, we go out. We don't even have to be at the gym. Like I'll go get coffee with these people. If they want to go get coffee, I'll take them out to lunch. I mean, that's what I mean. I'm just doing my part, helping out. And the gym to me is just one huge aspect of it because Travis, as me and you both know, if you're not healthy, you can't do anything. I mean,
Right.
you can't do anything. You can't make money. You can't spend time with your family because you have health complications. You can't throw a football with your kids. I mean, you can't do anything. You gotta take care of your health. And I think a lot of people, not even just veterans, a lot of people neglect that. And you just gotta take care of yourself because if you take care of yourself, then you're able to take care of other people. So.
What's happens to that veteran as they go through their program and they come to you and for a veteran to say, you know what, I'm hurting or I want to improve my overall physical fitness, health, range of motion, whatever, you got to get to a pretty like significant place to say, hey, I need help. What's it like watching that veteran go through your process?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, Travis. So obviously a lot of people that do come in, like you said, are severely hurt, with mental, emotional, or physical, pain. But the best thing, Travis, to be quite frank with you, is to see the people that are coming through the program and that want to stick around and be a part of Boots to Health and give back. That to me means that we're doing something right. Because if they're just coming and then they don't want to come and be a part of anything or come to any events or do anything then we're doing something wrong. So just to see these individuals get healthy, get back on their feet, and want to just stay in community and build relationships with us, I think to me it makes a difference, Travis. I mean, it makes a difference. So it's awesome. Honestly, it's awesome. Just seeing people get healthy in general. It's a good thing. I like me personally, I like to see people do better than me because that's just how I am. Not everybody's like that, but that's just how I am. I like to see people succeed because it's America. There's enough for everybody. I want everybody to win.
Well, winning looks different to everybody else. What might be, a warm-up attempt for one guy might be a maximal, like I gotta dig deep to get this, weight off the floor or push through this rowing cycle or whatever. But still, they gotta believe that they can do that. How do you get them believing again in themselves, Logan?
That's a good question, Travis. So kind of like what me and you talked about today. Obviously, I relate to a lot of different people because of my own stupid decisions as a kid, right? Telling people where I'm at, where I was, and where I'm at. And I think that really encourages a lot of people to let them know, hey, look, this kid just isn't in the position he is. He actually understands what I'm going through, what it's
Yeah.
like. So I think that's been a blessing. I mean, a blessing in disguise. Like I said, I didn't know it back then because I was, in a dark place. But now looking at it, I think it's a good thing that all that happened because I'm able to relate with a lot of different people and help, help them express themselves and feel better emotionally. So
So just back up a little bit. How long has your program then been in existence?
yeah, that's a great question, Travis. So I started this organization in 2021. We are going on year 5 right now. So
How many people have you helped then?
for the foundation, the past 2 years, 50 vets. So that's a lot of people for a newer organization.
That's a lot of people. That might not sound like a lot to some people, but to sit there and spend that kind of time with them, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. That's
It,
deep.
that's That is, yeah, especially because, like you said, ours is a very, I mean, because you're emotionally connected to these people, so it's very relationship based, and just building it takes a lot of time with one individual. So if you're doing it with that many people throughout a 2 year span, I mean, yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot, long
What,
time.
well, so let me ask you this. It's not just them though, because if they have families, spouses, or children that are seeing this happen, don't their lives get enriched when that person has a better, way of life, so to speak?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Travis, we do a lot of these community events, local events, and I've had spouses come up to me and say, I know Boots to Health before my husband used to come to your program. And they're like, oh, so you're Logan. And then they'll just tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay. I'm like, well, first of all, is that good or bad? Okay. Let me know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I know, it depends who you ask, right? But they'll just thank me for all the work that I'm doing. And a lot of people encourage me and, been very, very generous towards me, Travis, and just encouraging me, saying, just keep doing what you're doing. You're making a difference. And, getting that kind of support from people. I mean, just it's nice because I know people don't have to do it, right? So just for them to tell me that, hey, thank you for taking care of my husband or wife, then to me, that means this program is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So
So you didn't know anything about business. I mean, Dave Ramsey would be,
I'm
gasping
dead.
for air if he knew what you did. But now that you've done it, have you gone back to like a Bunker Labs or, gotten support from the VA for, yourself as a foundation business? Is any of that figured into what you're doing?
So yeah, Travis, I this past couple of months I've been getting more referrals from the VA. So the VA has been sending us veterans from outpatient clinics and the hospitals in the area. So we've been doing more work with the VA. I've gotten a lot of community support from trusts, the state, all that good stuff. I didn't have any of these connections or contacts, but thankfully I was able to settle all my personal debts. I'll just put it like that. And I just people. I don't know. I think people probably think I'm crazy or they're impressed. I don't know.
Well, I think listening to it, you could say crazy, but in a way, aren't you the quintessential American like success story? Americans love a comeback. We love a comeback.
Americans love the underdog, Travis. I
Yes.
I definitely feel like I'm an underdog story. That is for sure, Travis. Because like I said, being expelled from high school, not really having a high school diploma, ruining my relationship with my family and all that stuff growing up because of all the stupid stuff I did. It's by God's grace, Travis, that I am where I am. So I got to always remember that. But yes, I mean, all glory to him first and foremost. But, you know, like you said, Dave Ramsey would be probably, he might have a heart attack talking to me, baby. 20% APR, he might be a little, whoo.
It's working now, and you've changed lives, and not just the veteran's life, but also their family. I gotta ask then, if you're having this kind of success now, and really, I mean, I gotta tell you, the fact that the VA is seeing you referrals for being like officially open for 2 years means you've checked a lot of boxes. You've gone through a whole lot. I don't think people really appreciate what that means that the VA
No,
is sending you referrals.
yeah, so obviously when you're getting referrals from the VA, like that's a big deal. Like in the military community, that means okay, this program's legit. If you're having dietitians from the VA, nutritionists, social workers calling you, sending vets to you, asking you about your program, well, that means two things. One, you're on their radar, and two, that means you're doing the right things. I mean, so I'm very thankful for that. I never thought in such a short time frame that we would get like referrals from the VA because I mean, they're a huge, huge, huge organization. There's so many different departments and compartments of the VA, as you know, Travis. Just to be able to even say, hey, look, now we're getting referrals from the VA, I think that's huge because that makes us even look more credible. So, like every day, anyone from the VA is listening, send your vets. I'm more than happy. Oh, you send them. Good.
You've gone through this building process. You've bet on yourself. Retooled yourself. You've helped so many people. So I'm just curious, what's next for you and, Boost to Health Foundation?
Yeah, that's a great question, Travis. So I know, you're supposed to have a 5, 10 year plan, but life is so crazy. I like to take it one day at a time, Travis, because you just don't know. I mean, we have these plans, like I had these plans to do other things and everything shifted. I think having a business plan is a great idea, but you're going to get punched in the face many times in business. So throw the plan out the window, just take it for what it is and get up on your feet. But I think me personally, I'd love to eventually end up being a pastor in churches. I think I can help share my faith with a lot of people and help lead people to Christ and live godly, centered lives and find Jesus Christ. But I would love to continue to grow Boots to Health if the Lord allows and just continue to service more vets. And if God allows, open up more locations in other parts of the states and, be another resource for veterans. I think the biggest thing right now is I just got to continue to market and outreach my program and continue to share that with other people and let other people see the good things that we're doing and just continue to help that way. And then hopefully, like I said, I would love to employ more vets through the program. I love to get veterans their certificates, get them trained up, get them paid up, and allow them to help and get back in the community because if these people are working together in community, Travis, I mean, it's a good place to be. You don't want to be by yourself. I mean, you don't want to be by yourself, especially if you're dealing with some mental health issues. I think it's good to be around other people that understand you, relate to you, and can help you. So.
So you have this place. It's working well, but it doesn't run in a vacuum. How can people listening, watching, help Boost the Health Foundation as they come to know about your organization, Logan?
Yeah, so if anybody, first and foremost, if any veteran is interested in the program, please fill out our program assessment online. Love to put you through the program, help you out, help you with your fitness and health needs. And if you're looking to help give to an organization as well, just go to our website at boostthehealthfoundation.org. Any donation, I don't care how much, even if it's $1, I mean, that means something to me because people believe in what we're doing. So even if it's $1 or 50 cents, brother, I'm grateful, and I mean, thank you. That's really it. Thank you. So.
Well, then how can people find Boost to Health Foundation? Do you have a website or social media links?
Yeah, so everything on social media, LinkedIn, Boost to Health Foundation, Instagram, Boost to Health Foundation, Facebook, Boost to Health Foundation, Twitter, Boost to Health Foundation, boosthealthfoundation.org is our website. Venmo, PayPal, Boost to Health Foundation. You should be able to find us relatively easy. Everything is tech savvy now, so I gotta make sure you're online. So that's my 2 cents, Travis. Make sure you're on the internet.
Well, I gotta tell you, as we wind this down, I think Chesty's in heaven right now, looking down on you and me, and he's nodding, saying, well done, well done. And when we take that duty belt as we approach heaven's gates, he's going to be pretty happy with you. I just want to thank you for coming on and talking to me, Logan. It's always nice to see veterans who bet on themselves, follow their plan, and then see it work. I guess my last question is, there are veterans like you right now trying to start their business, their nonprofit, their art, whatever it is, and it can get hard sometimes on a good day. Like as you said, you're going to get punched in the face several times doing business. What's your advice to them to stay in, the fight, or, stay on track, even though it seems like, what, I just want to pack this in and, go do something else,
Yeah, so Travis, I've always been taught this: if you quit, you're never gonna win. If you don't quit, you're never gonna lose. Just don't quit. Just don't quit. It's simple. People, listen, I'm 26, right? And I started this at such a young age. Nothing, nobody, no bank was gonna even bet on me. And now these people want to do business with me and want stuff from me. I'm just telling you, any veteran out there, do it. Because you know what? Like I said, Travis, you're gonna die, and you're not gonna wish you didn't do more crazy, awesome things. And just do it. Just go for it. Who cares what anybody's gonna say about you? People are gonna say bad things, good things about you, regardless. But don't quit. Just keep going. Stay consistent. Don't quit. And if you're gonna network, make sure you build relationships, not just network and take business cards. Because people give me so many, and now I throw them away. I want you to reach out to me, and I want to get to know you. If you really want to be my friend, we'll go get coffee and we'll see what we can do. So
awesome.
That's my 2 cents.
Well, if I'm down Central Pennsylvania someday, I'd love to come by and see your facility and meet you in person. It's just been great talking with you, and I think this kind of story is what really resonates with people nowadays. So, Logan, again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Travis. It's been a pleasure.
Well, again, folks, you have Logan Spiewak from the Boost to Health Foundation. You've heard his story, how he, started off in the Marine Corps, got hurt, got out, rebuilt his life, and is rebuilding other lives. And so, you can take from this. I'll have all the links in Oscar Mike Radio show post. And I'm going to say mission flight, but also, Logan, Semper Fidelis.
Semper Fidelis, Travis.
The biggest fear Gold Star families have, that their child will be forgotten.
We need to never forget freedom wasn't free.
It's the fact that they give us the life we have now. We should remember them and give thanks to them.
If I can be a part of something today that's going to make the surviving family of any of these veterans, these heroes, feel better tomorrow, then it's worth it.
That one wreath symbolizes one family that was able to smile because of the generous donations.
To sponsor a wreath and honor a veteran, visit wreathsacrossamerica.org.
Thank you for listening and watching Oscar Mike Radio, where our active duty service members and veterans are in action and the mission is in flight. Oscar Mike Radio is an oversized load co-Sinister One production. If you are a veteran or know a veteran who needs help, please dial 988 and press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line.